What's happening, everybody? Matt here, but you can call me Matub, and welcome to Hottest Take of the Week, show where I look at dumb stuff on the internet and we talk about it. This week, it's another late night episode, so I'm going to be sultry and quiet as my wife and daughter are asleep upstairs, and I don't want to wake them up with all my shenanigans. Starting off this week, a player did really well, not for the Packers, and because of this, he will always be linked with the Packers. This week, TJ Watt got 4 sacks, and that's all anyone can talk about is, once again, Packers didn't draft TJ Watt, and they drafted Kevin King and Vince Beagle instead. Okay, well, TJ Watt had 4 sacks. Brown's gonna brown, right? Next up is a take that's been going around a lot on Packers Twitter, saying that the Packers' interior defensive line is just as good or better than the Vikings' interior defensive line, which in my opinion is not a hot take. But if you ask any fan who is not a fan of the Packers, usually Vikings fans, they will tell you that that's the dumbest thing that anyone has ever said. And how dare you compare Mike Daniels and Kenny Clark to Linval Joseph and Sheldon Richardson? Well, okay. Well, according to Pro Football Focus, Linval Joseph was graded a 90, which made him the 6th best interior defender, and Sheldon Richardson was a 71.2, which made him the 64th. That's last year's grades. Last year's grades also included Kenny Clark as an 87.8, which made him 9th, and Mike Daniels as an 81.5, which made him 22nd. So 9th and 22nd versus 6th and 64th. I think those are pretty comparable numbers. And I've also seen people like, oh, well, that was last year, and Sheldon Richardson was playing for a different team and scheme, and he's going to blah, 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 blah. Sheldon Richardson played for a good team last year, too, or a good defensive scheme last year, too. So to say that he's automatically going to be 100 times better. Also, by the way, the same people who are saying that Sheldon Richardson is going to be great in the Vikings defense are the exact same people that are saying that Mo Wilkerson was a terrible signing because he was bad on the Jets. People, man, it's just the hypocrisy of football Twitter is rampant. And I don't normally go after nobodies. I'll call them nobodies. I don't normally go after Joe Schmo on Twitter for their takes. But holy crap, there's a conspiracy theory going around Vikings Twitter that absolutely blows my mind. This is great. So this guy says, because Green Bay cheated and stole a non-touchdown against the Vikings and only got into the 2010 playoffs because of that, that's how Aaron Rodgers has a ring. A stolen touchdown? It's a big conspiracy theory that the only reason that Rodgers has a ring is because of this one touchdown against the Vikings that I was asking around, and myself nor the rest of the APC writers room could really figure out what this guy was even talking about. Oh, whatever. So let's talk about the Bears. Last week I said that they were a terrible team, formerly terrible team, and well, I mean, as always, the Bears still suck. Aaron Rodgers led just the most gorgeous comeback, being down 20-0 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and helping lead your team to come back. It was on one leg. What? It was beautiful. I can't even. It makes me weep internally just thinking about how this helps cement his legacy. And actually, the announcers were talking about how he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. Well, it was just give me more of this Aaron Rodgers greatness takes. But I will say that in hindsight, the Bears improved a lot more than I thought they would. Mitchell Trubisky looked pretty good in the beginning during the scripted series. And, man, I last week I called Khalil Mack the best edge defender in football. But that still didn't even do him justice. The guy's a monster. This is a really great statistic. Khalil Mack becomes the first player to record a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown since Khalil Mack did it in 2016. He's a game changer. There's no doubt about it. And he really helps shore up the Bears' pass rush when you've got someone like Leonard Floyd on the other side. And I feel kind of dirty saying nice things about the Bears, but it feels good knowing that the rivalry might mean something again for the first time in God knows how long. With that said, the Bears looked absolutely terrible after the scripted portion ended. I mean, their average yards per play was like 4. It was awful. But enough about last week's opponent. Moving on to this week. The Packers are going to be playing the Minnesota Vikings. And even though Aaron Rodgers is hurt, it looks as if he is going to play this week. However, if you are a reader of the Minnesota Star Tribune, you may have seen this article saying that the Packers have a lot to lose if Aaron Rodgers plays Sunday against the Vikings. Oh, man. Okay, so the Star Tribune is something I've gone after in the past. In fact, the author of this article, Jim Suhan, has me blocked on Twitter because I quote tweeted him and disagreed with one of his takes last year. But be that as it may, the article talks about the new Aaron Rodgers body weight rule, and it even has a video of Aaron Rodgers breaking his collarbone last year. It's just, to the Vikings, just go ahead and hang a banner that says 2017, we broke Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. Because that's all you guys have left. You have Kirk Cousins, who has never been a great quarterback. In fact, I personally think he's going to be worse than Keenum was last year. Keenum played lights out. The Vikings got incredibly lucky when it comes to health and starters. This year, their offensive line is already falling apart. They didn't look that great against a fairly weak 49ers team. The Vikings averaged less than 5 yards per play last week against a 49ers defense that has a couple pieces in like DeForest Buckner. The league average yards per play last week was 5.4, so they were a full half a yard. They were half a yard short of league average on offense. Maybe Dalvin Cook will be pretty good, but as we've seen with people like Ezekiel Elliott, if your offensive line is trash, you're going to look like trash. With that said, the Packers have a ton to lose if they don't play Aaron Rodgers. If Deshaun Kaiser goes out there and plays against even a half-decent defense, it's going to look awful. The Vikings have, at the very worst, a decent defense. Without Aaron Rodgers, it is almost a guaranteed loss. With Aaron Rodgers, there is always, always, always a chance. You play to win the game. You don't play to protect someone just because you're paying them a whole bunch of money. That's not how it works. Sorry, Star Tribune, but just like last week, I don't respect your opinion very much. So, in fact, your take is just, you know what? It's a 2. Your take is a 2. Congratulations, Jim Suhan. You're probably not going to see this because you block anyone on social media who disagrees with you. But there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for me in another late night episode of Hottest Take of the Week. Hopefully, we can see a semi-healthy Aaron Rodgers with a little bit of movement inside the pocket, but we can hopefully also see more of that pistol look and the timing offense. And oh man, if we brought back the 2014 offense where Aaron was kind of trapped in the pocket and the pistol look, oh, it's beautiful. That's some of my all-time favorite football. It's just make Aaron Rodgers beat you with your arm, not run around sandboxing constantly. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. As always, I'm Matt, but you can call me Matub, and go Pack. Go! What's happening, everybody? Future Matub here, currently editing the video, and I realized I forgot to mention that the Packers are the 1.5 point favorites. So, I mentioned on Twitter last week, and I'm going to say in the video this week, that if the Packers win against the spread, saying that they will win the game by 2 or more points, then I will dance on the following week's video. So, one extra reason to root for the Packers. Alright, that's me signing off.